what really happens when we die? I mean, think about it. It's the one thing we are all guaranteed to do, but it remains the ultimate black box. For thousands of years, we've told stories, right? About heavens and hells and rebirths. But what if we push past the stories? What does the actual evidence, from the very edge of science to the far reaches of philosophy, actually have to say? You might be shocked.
Hey, welcome to Curiosity Repo. This is the place where we dive headfirst into the biggest mysteries in the universe. And today, well, we're tackling the big one. We're going to explore three absolutely wild theories about what happens after you die that could seriously change how you see, well, everything.
So is it just lights out? A final curtain call? For most of human history, that was pretty much the debate. But now, things are getting way more interesting. We've got doctors, physicists, and philosophers all looking into this, and the possibilities they're uncovering are, well, they're truly mind-bending.
Okay, let's just rip the Band-Aid off and face the big fear, right? Is it all just nothing? The idea that everything that makes you you, your thoughts, your memories, your personality just switches off, poof, an endless silent void? It's a terrifying thought for sure.
But what if that's not the whole story? What if that's just a kindergarten-level understanding of how reality actually works? What if death isn't a brick wall, but a doorway? Let's start by talking about the people who have actually peeked through that door and somehow came back to tell the tale. All right, our first theory takes us into the fascinating and pretty controversial world of near-death experiences, or NDEs. Now, for a long time, science just wrote these off as, hallucinations from a dying brain. But some researchers are now saying, hold on a second, there's something profound going on here. Meet Dr. Pim van Lommel. He's a cardiologist, a man of hard science, and like most doctors, he used to be a total skeptic. He was convinced consciousness was just a byproduct of the brain. But then, he started actually listening to the stories from hundreds of his cardiac arrest survivors, and what they told him was so impossible, his own scientific curiosity forced him to admit he was wrong. So he conducted a massive study, one that was published in The Lancet, one of the most respected medical journals in the world. Out of 344 cardiac arrest survivors, a staggering 18%, that's nearly 1 in 5, reported having clear, lucid, conscious experiences, all while their brains were clinically offline. So, how on earth is that possible? Well, this is where the theory gets radical. See, the old view is that the brain is a producer. It creates consciousness, kind of like a light bulb creates light. You smash the bulb, the light is gone. Simple. But this new theory says the brain isn't a producer at all. It's a receiver. It's more like a TV tuning in to a broadcast. You can turn off the TV set, but the broadcast signal is still out there. And this is the part that is so hard for skeptics to explain away. When we say clinically dead, we mean it. The blood flow to the brain stops in a single second. Brain reflexes are gone. The EEG, which measures electrical activity, it completely flatlines in under 20 seconds. There is zero measurable brain function. And yet, this is precisely when people report having these incredibly complex, vivid experiences. How? This idea of a non-local consciousness, one that isn't even in your head, is staggering. But let's push this even further. Let's take a giant leap. What if the reason death is so strange is because our entire reality isn't what we think it is? And that brings us to our second theory, glitches in the matrix. Yeah, I know it sounds like something straight out of a movie, but this is an idea that has jumped from science fiction into serious debate among philosophers and physicists. The basic idea? Our universe is a program, and sometimes that program has bugs. You can go online right now and find huge communities where thousands of people share these personal, uncanny stories, moments where the fundamental rules of reality just seemed to bend or break. And they don't call them miracles or hauntings. They call them, in a very modern way, glitches. Take this story from a Reddit user. A person wakes up, sees perfectly clearly, goes about their morning routine, and then has that sudden realization, wait, I forgot to put my contacts in. And in that exact moment, their vision snaps to being blurry. It's almost as if reality was running on a lazy default setting, and their own awareness forced the program to correct the error. Or how about something as simple and maddening as this? A sock that vanishes from a sealed closed laundry basket only to reappear later in a room that's been locked the whole time. It's a small thing, but it defies any logical explanation. It feels just like an object in a video game clipping through a wall. And then you get reports like this, where someone is staring at a pattern on a tiled floor, and for just a split second, the pattern misaligns.
The pixels just don't line up. And then, just as quickly, it snaps back into place. It sounds exactly like a texture in a simulation failing to load correctly.
So what do these strange little glitches have to do with death?
Well, if you follow the logic,
Everything. If our life is just a hyper-realistic simulation, then death isn't an end. It's just logging out. It's taking off the VR headset. The game is over, and you just wake up in whatever base reality comes next. Okay, we've looked at consciousness surviving the brain, and we've considered reality as a simulation. Our final theory is maybe the most profound of them all. It tries to unify these ideas, suggesting that consciousness isn't just in the universe, it is the universe.
this idea breaks reality down into three basic layers. Think of it like this. First, there's the mind, the universal creative intelligence behind it all. Then there's consciousness, the universal awareness that allows anything to be experienced. And finally, there's thought. And that's the mechanism that takes all that formless potential and shapes it into the physical world we see.
This all points to a concept called a non-dual reality. It's a fancy term for a simple yet world-shattering idea. The feeling that you are a separate individual, an I looking out at the world, is an illusion. You aren't just a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. From this point of view, death is simply the drop returning to the ocean, dissolving back into the universal consciousness it came from. So where does that leave us? We've got consciousness surviving the death of the body, we've got reality as a kind of cosmic video game, and we have our own identities just dissolving back into a universal source. Let's break down what each of these mind-blowing possibilities really mean. Okay, let's put it all together. The near-death experience models suggest your consciousness is independent of your brain, and at death it's just freed from its physical shell. The simulation theory says you're a player character, and death is just the end of the game. You wake up. And the universal field theory says your individual awareness is just a temporary ripple, and upon death, you simply dissolve back into the cosmic source. So, which one is it? Is death a liberation, an awakening, or a homecoming? The truth remains the universe's greatest secret. But you have to admit, exploring these possibilities forces you to question the very nature of the reality you're sitting in right now. The answers are still out there. And if you love asking the big questions as much as we do, make sure you subscribe to Curiosity Repo so we can keep exploring them together. Thanks for watching.